Hey guys, Kev here, and I am ready to do my full review on the Wee Knives Banter. This is a really cool knife designed by Ben Peterson of Blade HQ. I'm sure most of you know. He's a really cool dude, and he had kind of stipulations when he bought a knife, right? Or he checked out a knife. He had stipulations on color, on length, on all different things, carry, blade shape, that kind of stuff. The finger test, right? The infamous finger test from Ben Peterson. So I just think it's so cool that he came up with his own knife design and he worked with Wii on it. And you can see a few different knives in this knife, and it's just kind of cool. I am drinking some Dock Street Bohemian Pilsner here in my Sam Adams glass. Just enjoying one tonight while I film these videos. And I wanted to start by kind of giving a background on my thoughts on this knife, right? When this first came out and I first saw the design, I initially kind of said, meh, it's kind of ugly. Kind of looks like a little chubby squid, right? It looks like a squid. I'm sorry, is that what that knife's called? The CRKT squid? I'm pretty sure it's called the squid. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure. I never actually owned one, so I don't know, but it's the squid and the pilar, right? Pilar is box. Squid is, I hate when this happens. The other guy, oh my God, he has some really cool knives. The Quaken, the Boker Quaken knife. Well, whatever. Let me know in the comments, please. So, it reminds me of the squid, right? Because it has this kind of like ovally shaped half spear type blade, right? The squid has the same kind of blade. At least to me it does. And then it's just like a really square, boxy kind of knife design, right? So initially I wasn't that taken by it, but these thumb studs kind of stood out to me. I just absolutely love the look of these thumb studs. Even though they really are just like normal thumb studs that are coated black, they have this kind of like button look to them somehow. Very hard for me to explain, but it kind of looks like a button. And they just are really, really cool. And it makes the knife pop a little bit for me. And anyway, I did not get one when they first came out. And my main reason for that is this clip. This clip is right hand only. And I actually messaged Ben about it, or I reached out on one of his Q&As or something, and I asked, why not give us a lefty clip? Why can't you reverse this clip? All it would have taken is one more screw right here. There's two screws on this side. It would have taken one more screw and I guess a little bit of a cutout, right? But it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. And he said he didn't do it because it breaks up the lines. Excuse me. It breaks up the lines of the knife. And I hear that a lot from knife designers who don't give us reversible clips. They didn't want to break up the show side, and I'm starting to respect that more and more because I've been carrying knives now that are right hand only for a little bit, and I've gotten used to them. And you know what? Aesthetically, this knife looks better without an extra hole and without a little cutout here. It just does. It just looks nicer on this side than it does on this side. And take away the clip, this would look, hideous. So I totally get it now. I still wish it had a reversible clip because I personally wouldn't have cared so much about the look. But I understand. So, you know what? I'm going to kind of relinquish my my guilt factor off of Ben. Ben, you can let it go. You can feel okay now. Lefty EDC is not upset with you about the clip anymore, okay? so you could sleep tonight. You know, just sleep well. Nothing to worry about, okay? All right, so that's why I never got one. And then recently I decided I need to get a Banter in here. I need to check one out. Everybody's raving about the action. It looks so cool. I just never got one because of the righty clip thing. And I was also getting some Asher knives in, and I wanted to compare them to the Banter. So I just went ahead and pulled the trigger, and I bought this off of White Mountain Knives, okay? So I got this in with a little bit of a discount. They always have 10% discounts for all different YouTubers. I think I used Slicey Dicey's code. I think it's SDKWM or SDWMK, I think, at checkout. You get 10% and free shipping. So check it out. But what we're working with here is S35 VN bead blasted on the blade. These black coated thumb studs, blue dyed G10, which is a great blue color. It's not like the other Civivis that come in blue. It's a little bit more of a blue pop, where those kind of had like a bluish, greenish kind of hue to them. They weren't like a Ben blue, which this is a Ben blue. So very good on the color. You have a reversible clip here. I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is steel. You have steel liners. You have a liner lock with some very good action on it. You have these two barrel spacers back here and a lanyard hole, which I could do without. But honestly, I didn't even notice it was there until right now, so whatever. You have the Wii pivot. You have the What Is Up Guys logo right here, or, you know, abbreviation right there on the blade. And then the only other marking is the S35 VN. I don't know if you're going to be able to make that out, but the tiny, tiny steel marking on this blade. And then lastly, you have the Banter written out on the clip. And I believe that Banter is Ben's kid's name spelled out. So if you take all of their first initials, you can spell the word Banter out. I believe I heard that. Don't hold that against me, but I believe I heard that. So again, aesthetically, I think this looks really cool. It's just a sweet little knife. It's $108, so let's call it $100, and you get, you know, a pretty sweet build here with the S35 VN, with the bead blast blade, with these cool thumb studs. You get the liner lock. You get the deep carry clip, which goes past the butt of the knife, which is awesome. Super deep carry, and it's inset into the G10, and then the screws are countersunk as well. So you get a very, very well done clip. And that's going to be the difference between this and a Civivi. Because looking at this knife, it's more on par with the Civivi than it is a Wii, right? I think they put the Wii name on it because it was Ben. You know, they didn't want to do a Civivi, or maybe because it was just over $100. They put the Wii on it. I'm not sure why they did that, but this could just have easily have been a Civivi collaboration. So there's that. But yeah, aesthetically, it's cool. Action. So when I took this out of the box, I kind of complained about the detent, right? I can fail it fairly easily by just kind of flicking it out like that. If I go to the brake, it just kind of flops out, right? But if I give it any pressure, it shoots out. And when people say this knife feels assisted, I have to agree. Just the way the blade is angled, the way the thumb studs are angled, when you push up on this knife, it fires out of there, and it does feel assisted. So very, very good opening action, but you can also roll it out if you want. So if you want to just roll it out, you can. It's a little harder left-handed because I don't have anything to grab here. But if I do it right-handed, I can grab onto the clip, and just roll it out real easy. The closing action on this knife. So for such a small knife with such a short blade, it drops pretty well. I mean, you have to shake it. It's not just going to drop. Here, I can try it right-handed and see. So it will drop to there, and then you just give it a little shake, and it drops home. Action really good on the open and the close. I've had a fun time fidgeting with this. You can middle finger flick it. That's probably my favorite way to open it, is the middle finger flick. So, really cool. One of the issues I have with this knife is the access to the lock bar. So if you look at the lock bar here, it's pretty much flush with the scales. And they put some jimping on it, which is great. And that's the only thing that really sticks out a little bit, is a tiny bit of that jimping. But you have to really shove the meat of your hand in there, and, you know, give it a real good push to get it out, you know. And left-handed, it's honestly easier, because I can just take my thumb and push in and against, and it just seems to work a little bit better left-handed. Right-handed, it's just awkward. It's such a thin space here between the scales, and you never know if you're going to get it. You're just kind of going in hoping that you're pushing in the right position. And it usually does close when you do that, but it's not very confidence-inspiring. So that's a gripe I have, is the lock bar access there. The jimping on this knife is basically irrelevant. You know, so ergonomically, this knife is fantastic. For such a small knife, and me having a large glove-size hand, maybe XL, my hand fits perfectly into this grip, right? And my pinky rests on this flat right here. So everything, my other fingers are in the swell, and my pinky rests right on that flat, and it just feels really good. And it's comfortable, and I could hold this all day and not have a problem. And my thumb just rides perfectly up the blade, and you know, any kind of detail cutting, or like if I'm slicing an apple or something, this is awesome. But the jimping is down here, and there's like 4 little lines of jimping that are very minimal. I don't really understand. There's no reason for it to even be there. But if you're going to have it, it would have been nice to have some jimping up here along the top of the spine, because it is a very thin blade stock. So having some jimping up here would have been more comfortable. Would have given me a little more confidence in these kind of slicing motions. So those are really the two issues I have with the knife. The lock bar thing is an issue. The jimping is kind of just a minor nitpick, right? But overall, I absolutely love this knife. I've had it for 2 or 3 weeks now, and honestly, I've carried this more than anything else I've had in that time, except for maybe the Vox F5.5. I got these around the same time, and I absolutely adore this knife, by the way. Review coming on this. It was my knife of 2020, right? Like, this thing is a home run. They actually have a carbon fiber model coming out this week, and I'm hoping to snag one of those. But other than that knife, I've carried this more. And, I've carried this in my back pocket, and it's so lightweight. That's something I didn't talk about, the weight. It's such a lightweight knife. I mean, if I compare it to the Bug Out here, right? The Bug Out is lighter, for sure. And size-wise, I probably should do this more often to give you guys kind of a size comparison. If I line it up at the back here, the Bug Out has a good amount on it. Maybe half an inch or so, or an inch. Probably has an inch on it. Blade length-wise, not that much. Maybe quarter of an inch to half an inch, quarter of an inch blade length. But weight-wise, it's very close. This is what, like 1 point, I'll call it 2 ounces because I have my cart of scales on here maybe. 2 ounces on this guy. I mean, this guy has to be around 2.5 ounces. 3 at the max, I would say. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I'm thinking like 2.7 ounces on this guy, maybe 2.8. Fantastically lightweight. The scales are not very rough. They're pretty smooth, but they feel good. You get enough grip. It's just a really good package you get. And, you know, for $108, you get S35, you get G10, you get the really good deep carry clip, you get a knife designed by, you know, Ben Peterson, a freaking legend in this community. Everything I said earlier, you know, I'm joking when I'm giving him shit, right? This guy is a legend. I love Ben Peterson. I basically watched Knife Banter more than I watched any other knife YouTube for a long time until he left. And I kind of fell off after that. And then I started finding other channels. But I really watched a lot of Blade Banter because of Ben Peterson. And I really respected his view on knives. And now that he's coming out with them himself and just kind of pouring in his own, you know, design language into it, it's just so cool. He always loved the squid. And he loved blue. And he loved having knives he could reach to the tip. And, you know, he could do the finger test on. And he loved deep carry. And it's just so cool to see that kind of transformed into a knife that I can buy for $108. So I have ranted and I have raved, guys. So I really appreciate you tuning in for this review. If you can get a Banter and you're left-handed and the only thing holding you back is the righty carry, go for it. This knife has thumb studs. It's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna cause an issue in your left pocket because it's thumb studs. It doesn't have a flipper or anything. And you know, if you're right-handed, I don't know why you don't have this knife unless it's too small. I get that. If you have XL, 2XL hands, like if you're Kyle, you know, this knife is probably a little small. But even then, you might be surprised. So check it out, guys. Love this knife. And I hope you guys have a fantastic night. I will catch you later.